You are listening to the Take a Step podcast, where we help growth-minded professionals live every day on purpose. My name is Josh Johnston, and today I am joined yet again by John Sarzewski, where we sit down and reflect on the 50K race that we competed in just a few weekends ago. And we have some pretty impactful takeaways that we feel like will serve as inflection points in our lives moving forward. So we want to share that because we know it has the potential to for you guys as well. So let's take a step.
All that from a race.
Dude, the thing about it is, like, kind of like what I was saying today, is it's cool when you get a big takeaway that you weren't expecting or you weren't looking for. That was me with the race.
Yeah.
Where it's like I was like, for me, it was like, let's get back into ultra shape, kind of like re-grease the tires a little bit, and having like experience the suck that I wasn't expecting and still having to battle through it it was like the mental edge I needed on like, oh, I don't have to be prepared in order to endure the suck. You know what I mean?
Now you were prepared.
I was as prepared as I was.
You were dialed in going into this.
Was dialed in, but I wasn't mentally prepared to have to go through that kind of hurt.
Because this was kind of like the stepping stone into the real suck, which you're planning for, which is a 100-miler.
Yep. Before
the end of the year. So 32 miles, like, that's just a training day.
Yeah.
And you had to go to that different zone, right? Like you fell into the pit and you had to tap into something deep.
Yeah, man. We'll dive into it. Dude, we might as well I might just keep this in and have that as the beginning. If we don't, either way, we're going to go ahead and get it going. Welcome back to the podcast. We've got myself. We've got John again. We're dialed in. We've got some stories to tell, some takeaways from our ultra marathon last weekend, and man, it's been a great start to the week. We're in the middle of Tribe Week right now. Tribe Week is where we have all of our groups in the tribe having their monthly calls, really diving into how the previous month has been, strategizing for the upcoming month. And it's been really cool to hear some takeaways and just talk about where everyone's at. But John, first off, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm back.
Let's go.
Like, and you've never seen this side of me.
Yeah.
I may have said before, like, oh, I'm back. I was never. Now I'm fully back, more than I've ever been.
What do you mean?
Man, we'll dive into it, but like, I've resurrected my ego.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to unpack that yet, but what that looks like.
That'll be a cliffhanger.
I mean, I guess you want to go into the race, like my realizations of it.
Yeah. I mean, let's jump straight in. So I know we talked about it a little bit on the podcast. I guess it was 2 episodes ago now, 2 or 3, but it was the week before we were going down there, and we were talking about, how much we've prepared, how little we were prepared, just looking forward to the weekend and the takeaways that were going to come from it. But for those of you that didn't listen to that episode, we went down to Florida right off 30A. Beautiful time of year to be down there. Late February. It was warmer than expected, which we'll get into. But yeah, brought the families, had a couple houses down there, and just a big crew to go down there. A few of us were running in a 50K. And it was for myself, it was kind of my step back into ultra marathons to kind of re-grease the tires and get back into that shape so I can prepare for bigger things later on this year. And for others of us, it was our first step into ultra marathons. So it was really cool to see the different dynamics on people's mindsets going into it. And then that definitely had a big impact on the takeaways that everyone had based off of like where we were as we approached it. But yeah, dude, let's jump into it. What, where are you at based off of how you feel now and, how you felt going into it?
I feel on top of the world. I found that deep-seated drive that's been missing for a while now. I found it on that course. And I found a lot about myself that I didn't even know was true. So what I realized about myself over the last couple of years, I keep putting like races or events on the calendar to try to like foster that drive that I once had and to bring it back out of me. And I keep falling short. Disclaimer, 24 miles in and I had to pull out of the race. So I did not finish the 50K. I don't know what that equates to, but I had to pull out 24 miles in. Now, a lot led into that. I mean, one, race day management was poor.
Let's get the excuses out of the way.
Here's the excuse. It was 3 10-mile loops. At the start of the trailhead, they had an aid station with all your bars, gels, goos, nutrition. And then 5 miles in, maybe 6 miles in, they had a water station. On my second 10-mile lap, feeling a little crampy, so I drank my salts because it was 85 degrees and humid.
Yeah.
And drink my salts, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait for a glass of water. That is going to taste so good. Yeah. And I get to the water station on my second lap, and it is bone dry. And at this point, like, we've all spread out enough, so there's nobody manning it, and there's nobody around me. So it's just me and a couple of empty water coolers. And I'm literally lifting these things up, like pouring them over my head to try to get a drop, and there's nothing. So I had a moment of panic, and my answer to that, because I'm a hustler by nature, according to the step check.
Yeah.
My answer to that was, okay, buckle down and run harder for the next 5 miles and get back to that water aid station. Mm-hmm. So I take off, and amidst the takeoff, at some point I made a wrong turn and I ventured 1.5 miles off course. Finally found that after I passed 3 camping sites that I didn't see on the first loop. It took me the third one to realize, like, something might be off. I looked down at my phone, see where I went off, and I'm like, oh, man.
Dude, pause real quick. Have you ever heard the story of somebody that's like waiting on God to move, and it's like this guy out at sea, a boat comes by. They're like, do you need some help? You look like you're struggling. He's like, no, thanks. God will save me. Second boat comes by. Do you need some help? Looks like you're going to drown. No, thanks. God will save me. The third boat comes by. Says, no, thanks. God will save me. Sooner or later, he dies. Yeah. He goes to heaven, and he asks God, he says, God, why didn't you save me? I was relying on you. He said, I sent you 3 boats, you idiot.
That was
3 campsites later.
3 campsites, and he finally showed himself to me. So I turn around, I get back on course, and I start to do the math. I'm like, I'm going to be 10 miles without any water. I'm already crampy. I added 3 miles to this race that I didn't fully prepare for. I'm going to have to pull out.
Yeah.
And struggle with the decision. I'm like, can I do it? Can I not? And when I finally made the decision, once again, it's just me in the woods in Florida. And I'm like, yeah, when you get back to the trailhead, you're going to have to pull out.
Yeah.
And I felt my lips start to quiver. I was like, oh, dude, no, this means something. Yeah. It's not just failing on another race. Like, there's something here. So I had this 2-mile walk of shame where it's just me walking back to the trailhead, and it was just me in conversation with God. And he revealed some stuff to me. So what he was showing me, my drive. So I've been in the fitness game now for 13 years. Mm-hmm. I've made a career off of it. I've made a living off of it. And he showed me that for so long, my love for fitness was all driven by my ego. I would never outwardly say it. I've never said it before. And I never even knew it. But he showed me, like, no, you wanted to perform and be the man, look the part, like, get fed by everybody looking up to who you were. And it was all about me. Now, praise God, 5 years ago when I gave my life to him and I came to a relationship with Christ, he buried that side of me. He took it away and he buried it. Now, when he buried it, I also lost this drive and this ambition and this excitement because the ego is no longer there. So it was like I kept putting these races on the calendar to try to foster it because I remember that feeling of like working really hard, and I love that feeling. But without the ego, there was no center to it. So I kept failing, and I kept not seeing it through. And he told me, he's like, bring it back. So I'm resurrecting my ego. Now, ego's a catchy term.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's an ego. I would say it's more of a holy ambition.
Interesting. Okay.
So think of holy ambition. It's like, I want to be excellent, but submitting to the Father. I want to pursue excellence in everything I do, in my workouts, in my marriage, in my business, in everything I do. I'm going to be the man because I'm not. Because I am submitting to somebody above me that is the creator of the universe. And I'm going to give him my excellence. I'm not giving it to everybody else. I'm giving it to him. And that realization, it just snapped. In the last 2 weeks since the race, dude, I have not missed a meal. Like, I am on my diet fully. I'm crushing my workouts again. I'm energized. I'm excited. And it's all the traits I used to have, but it was all for me. And now I'm submitting to a higher power and it feels even more powerful. It's like he removed the engine in my heart and he gave me one that's even better. Because I'm now tapping into the spirit, dude. It's like, it's no longer just my inner strength. It's the spirit moving within me. But I feel that drive coming back.
Guys, we'll get back to the episode in just a moment, but I've got to take a second to tell you guys about the official sponsor of the Take a Step podcast, MMP Customs. They make all of the Take a Step apparel, and honestly, they're the best at what they do. I know Nathan Mooney, the owner, personally, and he is just someone who embodies the Take a Step mindset. He took action on this business a few years ago and turned his entire downstairs of his house into a full production facility. And at this facility, he's built an amazing team that serves clients both small and large, whether if it's outfitting your staff, gifts for a client, or any custom branded merchandise. They're your people and they're fit for the job. Something really cool they recently did for Take a Step is on their website, they built out a custom page specific for Take a Step apparel and merchandise that I can now send people directly to, and I'll link that down below and they can do the same for you. So if you have any need for custom apparel or merchandise, MMP Customs is the place. Let's get back into the episode. Yeah. As you're talking about it, something that's coming to my mind is we are so prone to run away from like the natural hardship and struggles that life throws at us, let alone like the struggles we have the option to choose. But when we face natural trials, like we want to run or we want to step out of it as quick as possible. But from what I'm hearing, it's like you have had a life altering perspective from being in it, but we so quickly want to jump out of it. You know what I mean?
I want to sit in this.
Yeah, that's the thing is like a verse that jumps out to me and thinking about that is James 1:2-4 says, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of any kind, knowing that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And then it says, but let the perseverance finish its complete work so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing.
You got to sit in that perseverance. You got to sit in the pocket for him to have that moment,
because you're being molded in that moment. And if you try to jump out, that like you had 100% exhaustion and you felt like every ounce of energy that you had to give was given. And if you tried to jump out, like if you started, like right when you started to feel a little dehydrated, if you would have tapped, or if when the water was empty, if you said like right when the water cooler was empty, I'm done. Like I'll call somebody, like I'm not going the rest of this 5 miles. Then like you wouldn't have this newfound perspective. But because you said, hey, I have more to give, like I'm going to get back and see where I'm at there. You got lost. God led you deeper into the suck, the mental space, the mental grind that you were in. And then lip starts to quiver and you start to realize like the level, like the meaning that this actually has outside of just being a race.
You're challenging me now. I wonder what he had in store for me if I would have done that last 10-mile lap.
Seriously.
No, I mean, going back to that verse you mentioned, like breaking isn't punishment. When God breaks you, he's not punishing you. He's preparing you for something.
Yeah.
There's 2 stories that are in all 4 of the Gospels.
Okay.
So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, there's only 2 stories that are consistent in all 4 of those accounts.
Okay.
One, you have the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ.
Yeah.
But the only other one, I mean, you got the Sermon on the Mount, you've got the Lord's Prayer, you've got all these healing stories, but the only one that's consistent in all 4 is when he fed the 5,000.
Okay. Not the Sermon on the Mount.
Not the Sermon on the Mount.
I mean,
think about
all at the well.
No.
That's interesting.
It's the only other one that's mentioned. Now think about that feeding of the 5,000s. This overlaps to my resurrected ego story. Jesus took the 5 loaves and 2 fishes. He took it, he broke it, he blessed it, and then he gave it. And when I think about how that goes back to my resurrected ego, he took the ego from me and he blessed me when he took it. Like when he took it from me and he blessed me, he gave me a relationship with him that led to peace, love, joy, self-control, all these different things that I never had. Now, he then broke me, and he broke me on that race. Like that was like over the last couple of years, as he's blessed me, he's also broken me of a lot of things, a lot of past desires that I used to chase. And it all came to a head on that trail. And then he gave it back. But now when he's giving it back, like he's given it to me so I can go and I can give it to others. And there's a newfound drive and purpose that he revealed himself to me on that race. But he first had to take it, bless it, break it, and then give it back. And think about how many parallels you could probably look back on your life.
Of course.
How many times has he taken something that was an idol for you? He blessed you for taking it. Yeah. He broke you, I'm sure, along the process. And then when he gives it back,
dude, I mean, the story I've talked about before, I haven't talked about it in a while, but like for me, it was my path to professional baseball.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I grew up, just some backstory on that, just to like draw the parallel. I grew up a very, very undersized kid that was a good athlete, but going into high school, like, dude, I didn't grow until probably my late junior year. Like, so everybody's already gotten recruited. Like I knew I wanted to play college baseball, and I had skill. I just didn't have size. I didn't have strength. I was a kid playing amongst men that were getting recruited. And for that reason, again, God working in hindsight in a way that I didn't realize in the moment, sent me to a smaller school where I was going to play, and was able to actually like mold my craft because I was able to play. And playing professionally was at that time of my life, it was a pipe dream. Like it was, sure, that'd be great, but like realistically, how likely is it? Not really. Had a decent freshman year, had a decent sophomore year, and then really started to like mature, grow, like perfect the craft and really mold it all together my junior year, and had an unreal year. And we had a guy that was getting drafted that was a senior my junior year who was getting a lot of looks. And that year, every time a scout was at his game, a game to watch him, I had an unreal game and put me on a lot of scouts' radars. Going into my senior year, I had them like scouts were coming out to every game, sending me like prospect profiles to fill out. I was filling out multiple a week for multiple scouts. And the plan was at that point, this is the path. Like this is, it's not like an if, but hey, like how soon or late in the draft was I going to go? And fast forward, middle of the season, having a great year, talking with all these scouts, COVID hits. 15 games into a 50-game schedule. And nobody knows what's going to happen. I was planning on getting engaged that summer and trying to plan out what the path would be, and ends up being bigger than anyone expected at the time. There was no minor league season. There was almost no major league season. There was a 60-game schedule that year for those that remember. The draft used to be a 40-round draft for the MLB. It got cut to 5 rounds. There was pretty much no free agent signings. So anyone coming out of a smaller school, I mean, yes, you can say it's an excuse, but it was just not God's timing. It was not the time for me. And when you talk about had to take something away that I thought like was an idol for me, like, and what he was teaching me in that moment was, hey, where is your identity?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know who I was outside of like the baseball player in the circle I ran in.
So as he took it from you, he blessed you in showing you who you truly are.
Amen. 100%. And like me molding this new perspective on who I am, on what position does God have in my life? Am I on the pedestal? Is it my status, my ego, who I am as a baseball player on the pedestal? Or is it ultimately submitting to Christ's plan over my own plan for my life? And I'm not saying I'm perfect with that. I still battle with that to this day, but he had to take that from me stepping in, because I wouldn't, like, looking back on it, there was no way I was mature enough to handle what a minor league lifestyle looks like.
Yeah.
Little pay, on the road all the time with a new fiance. Man, that would have been, I fearfully look back on what would have happened if that would have been the path, but it was everything I wanted in the moment.
So he took it from you. He blessed you in showing your true identity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's broken you in certain parts along that journey, because now you have to refigure out, what is the career path? What am I going to do?
It took me 4 years of chasing a success path that
but in
I
that
hadn't
breaking,
defined.
it's not punishment. It's he's preparing you. So during that preparation, and now he's starting to give it back.
Yeah.
And he's giving you a different platform.
Talk
that's
about the
more
resurrected
beautiful.
ego, dude. Like that, dude. We've talked about it a lot over the past couple of days. It's starting to make sense in looking back on my own story, because it was that process of taking something away, breaking me down, going through 4 years of spinning the tires on chasing this pipe dream of success that is the world standard of success, but not my own. And through all of that process, he showed me really what I feel like I've been put on this earth to do, which is to inspire others to take action for themselves and ultimately live every day on purpose.
And
which
that
is
platform
what
he's given you,
Yeah.
the 5 loaves that he took, then fed 5,000 with 12 baskets left over.
Yeah.
When he gives it back, he's giving you a bigger dream than you could have even imagined.
Yeah, dude.
And you wouldn't have got it if you didn't take it, bless it, break it, and then give it back.
Let's go.
So it's like when you're in that season of breaking, because I'm sure everybody can relate, they're probably breaking in some capacity right now.
Yeah.
Dude, look back on the blessings, realize why he took it, and then sit in the pocket.
Yeah.
Going back to James, it's like rejoice in your troubles.
Yeah. Sit in it.
Sit in it.
Yeah.
Because that
Let it do its
perseverance. And then get out there and take action. Because once again, like I wouldn't have had this moment if I didn't get out there and run 24 miles, run, walk.
Yeah.
The ego is not going to lie to you guys. I had to get to that, like, because I'm pretty stubborn. So I'm sure he's been trying to break me down.
Yeah.
But it took me getting out there and like immense discomfort for him to finally get me to that aha moment of like, oh, there's something here. Like a grown man in the Florida woods, literally my lip was quivering. Like, am I about to cry? No tears, but like, I was like, dude, there's like emotion here. There's something here. And then he showed me.
Yeah. Dude, I freaking love it. What's the, what from here? Is it something that you want to take and run with just for in how you act personally? Is it something that you feel like inspired to build others up through that message? Like
I think when he gives you something like that, it's selfish to keep it. So I'm trying to like craft, what does this look like? Like I'm still crafting how this actually makes sense.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I mean, I think I found the title for my first book, Resurrected Ego.
Yeah.
Because it highlights my whole story of like being the man, chasing the world, all the success, walking away from that so he could bless me and pull me back home to him. And that's now my identity. And then he broke me along the process, like got our finances tight for a season, redefined what I was chasing, and then still not having the physical drive that I wanted, that I knew I had, that used to make me. Like there was something missing. And then he gave it back.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to hitting my workouts hard, loving my wife better, getting out there and like sharing this story and shining a light on him and his goodness.
Yeah, dude. So awesome. It's cool to hear your takeaway from that.
All from a 50K.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what?
Well, because I had very similar as far as like the magnitude that I wasn't expecting. As far like my takeaway, it was very different. But like I feel like the impact for me was very similar, because mine, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, like I'd run a 50 miler at the end of 2024. And my big thing for this year, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but my big thing for this year is to run a 100 miler at the end of the year. After running this, I'm like, okay, it's time to sink your teeth in and get after it. But for me, it was like, I'd run one at the end of 2024. I made the brilliant decision of signing up for it 3 months after my daughter was born. So it gave my wife PTSD on any time I mentioned a race. So I was like, all right, you know what? For 2025, no races. I'll promise you that. So as soon as I could in 2026, signed up for one.
Yeah.
But really just to kind of like get me back into ultra shape. And I was excited. I felt very, very prepared. It was the best, like most confident I felt in my training going into a race. And yet to step into it and having gone through the mental suck and like having to really endure some real suffering that I didn't expect was a shock to me. Cause I expect, like, I was trying to remember in my training and stepping into it, like remembering where I was at around mile 30 of the 50-mile race and be like, all right, this is kind of how I'm going to prepare, how I'm going to plan on trying to pace myself, my nutrition, all of that. Now, the factors we didn't take into account, the heat, what the, course hydration was going to look like. And having gone through some of those scenarios, it taught me that certain suffering in life you can choose.
Mm-hmm.
Certain suffering in life God puts in your path that you don't choose. But we always have the choice in how we're going to respond to it.
It goes back to, you can control your inputs.
Yep.
You can't control the output.
No, you can't. Yeah, because I felt like I did pretty much everything right in my training.
But you didn't account for 85 degrees.
No.
I mean, it was sunny from the start of the race.
But then I could go back and say, I could have been a little bit more proactive about, hey, if it is this hot, knowing it is Florida. But at the end of the day, like, you can get nuanced and go into too much detail to where you try to take back control.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I feel like I try to do if I try to go back and be like, what were all the little small things that I didn't do right? No, I put in a damn good prep and I was very proud of it.
And you performed well. I mean,
I was, yeah, but then that's the other thing is like going back to, I'll get into it in a second, but like the heart of gratitude behind, even though I didn't hit the goal, I was happy with the performance. But what I was saying with like certain suffering we choose, certain suffering is given to us. I did not expect to have to go to that level, to that space mentally, but I'm so happy I did because I was expecting it to be challenging and to get through the finish. I didn't expect to have to battle through the last 8 miles of running a quarter mile until my groin cramped up and then having to like walk it out until it unlocked and then trying to go for 8 miles, which turned into like 2 more hours. And having gone through that, I'm so thankful because it taught me that like, I don't have to be expectant upon the suck in order to go through it and overcome it. And I felt like I did this race and I needed that because I haven't had the suffering given to me like that in a long time. So yeah, it was very powerful for me on just like, I don't like, it doesn't have to be on the schedule to get through something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know where this ties in, but it's just on my heart right now. Like in Nehemiah, God gave him this dream and it's a God-sized dream. And when he gives it to you, he wanted him to rebuild Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. And it's like, when he gives it to you, at first it seems impossible. Mm-hmm. It then becomes difficult and then it's done. Yeah. And the only way you can look back and be like, well, wow, how did we get here? His glory. Mm-hmm. It's like when we stepped into this, it seemed impossible for me, at least at first. It became very difficult and then done. It sounds like that was your experience. Yeah, for sure. And it's like, it goes back to the, we have a diagram that we're talking about on the tribe calls this month. It's basically a Venn diagram, but it takes each area of the step framework: strength, tribe, expertise, and praise. And when you think about it in just like the word step, strength at the top, praise at the bottom. Yeah, it seems like they're all disconnected.
Yeah, exactly.
Like here's this target, here's this.
Yeah.
They're all like dissected, but in fact,
yeah,
they all overlap.
They do all overlap. So the way the diagram looks, and if y'all want it, reach out. I'll be happy to send you the graphic. But essentially it's a Venn diagram that has these 3 circles that all overlap. And in the dead center of that diagram, you have praise. And it's basically the core message behind it is like we were talking about earlier, is like you can control all the inputs. You have complete control over the actions you take today, but God's going to control the outputs. So, and if we can actually approach life with that mindset, the heart of gratitude that we can have despite the result is freeing. And that's why I was so still pleased with my result, even though I had like a stretch goal of 5 hours. I finished in 5 hours and 32 minutes. And because of everything I went through, because of knowing that I did everything I could have done and still endured and still, I knew that the circumstances were given to me. I was so grateful to be able to just compete, to be able to finish, to be able to be out there alongside, we had 4, 5, 6 guys that we knew that were running it together, all the families out there. It was an unbelievable experience despite what the result was.
Yeah, the weekend itself, I mean, you can sign me up for next year.
Yeah.
Just to go back to that house, get the families together, the kids playing. I mean, that was the highlight for me.
Yeah.
And the race was kind of secondary. Mm-hmm. That was my mindset going into it. Once again, praise God I did it because he showed himself and he showed so many things about me that I didn't even know were there. Mm-hmm. Like even to admit that my ego has always been the driving force behind my entire career in fitness. I never even knew that. Mm-hmm. Like it makes so much sense now, but I was such a humble egomaniac where like, no, I'm a nice guy. So I'm not going to like feed into all the praise and the affirmations, but I loved it. That's mm-hmm. why I was doing it. But I would pretend I lied to myself so deep seated that I'm like, oh, this doesn't matter. No, I don't want to. I want to stay small and be humble. No, dude, I'm the man. Yeah. Tell me more.
Yeah.
And for him to just show me that, I was like, oh my goodness. All right. And he took that from me. And now he's giving it back. But like now with a holy ambition, come on.
Yeah. It's time to go, dude.
I might sign up for the 100-miler with you, dude.
Be careful.
Let's see.
Oh, man. Well, I think like a powerful takeaway for me that I'd love to close with is I think like what are we avoiding that could potentially show us that kind of new perspective? Like what are the things in our lives that because it might be a little challenging or because we might not have all the right answers, because we might be nervous of, what people will think if it doesn't work out the way I want it to. Like, what are we not doing because we don't know what's going to happen? And what, like, if we show, even if we did the thing and the result doesn't happen the way we like, you're 50K.
Yeah.
Like, what could you possibly learn about yourself or about others or about God that you don't already know?
It brings me back. I'm working with a good buddy who's estrayed from his family right now. He's had some past addictions and struggles with that. Mm-hmm. So he's away from his wife and kids.
Yeah.
They're up in Boston and he's down here in Georgia with us trying to get it back together. And I like to see him on like this vision where like, how does he get back to his wife and kids? He literally just has to walk there one step at a time. And that seems so unsurmountable. It's like, how do I walk to Boston? There's no way. And I'm not saying to go out there and walk there, but it's figuratively speaking. Mm-hmm. Like he has to just walk it one step at a time to rekindle that, to step into the man that he needs to be to lead his wife and kids. Mm-hmm. It seems unsurmountable at first. Like it seems like it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult. And then the next thing you know, it's done.
Yeah.
And what we resist persists. So going back to like, what are we avoiding?
Dude.
What are we staying away from? And it's going to stay there.
Yeah. It's not leaving.
It's like, you just got to address it mm-hmm. and then have the fortitude to stay in it, knowing that God, even when it hurts, even in that break, he's not punishing you during that breaking moment. Like he's preparing you mm-hmm. for the man that he has called you to be, mm-hmm. for the man he's called you to lead your family. Like if marriage is difficult right now, okay, lean into it. Address the difficulties. Don't just let them sit there and fester, because if you resist it, it's going to persist and it's going to grow. Mm-hmm. But if you sit there and address it and have the hard conversations, boom, he opens it up.
Yeah. When you say that, I think about like if you've ever had like a deep conversation with a grandparent or someone at a nursing home or someone who's towards the end of life, you very rarely do you hear regrets regarding the things that they've done. But it's almost always the things that they wish they had done, or the time they wish they would have spent differently. because if you spend your whole life resisting something that you know is something that's on your heart, it's going to persist. It's going to remain there until you actually do something and figure out if it was the right path or not. But you won't know unless you don't try.
I would imagine for a lot of the guys listening to this, if they found your stuff, like they're active and they're getting after it. Mm-hmm. And it might seem so exhausting to add one more thing to their plate. They're like, dude, I'm working as hard as I possibly can. I can't go pursue that side project and that dream. I don't have the capacity right now to have that conversation with my wife. Like, I am burnt out from the day because I checked all these boxes and I'm coming home depleted. If they're feeling that way, I would argue like faith without works is dead. I like to read that faith without frameworks is dead. Like you need to have structure. So you can take that energy and that drive that God's giving you and channel it in the right direction. Because you can get it done.
Yeah. I mean, it's the hamster wheel analogy. It's like anyone listening to this podcast values hard work. I guarantee you 99% of the people listening to this love to work hard. But if you work hard without structure, without a framework, dude, that hamster wheel can go faster and faster and faster. But if it's not going anywhere, you're going to get burnt out.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have the right structures, the right frameworks to actually take these new actions with direction and with clarity, then you're on the right path. And the core message we have through the brand is your action produces clarity.
Come on.
Like you're going to clarify if that step was right and what the next step should be if you take action and if you take the step and let that step clarify the next step. Because dude, like you were talking about your friend who needs to get back to his family in Boston. Like that's the mission at the end of the day. For me, I think back when I was running the 50 miler 2 years ago, I knew somewhat around the time of how fast my pace would be. The race started at 7 a.m. at sunup, and I knew sometime around sundown was when I was going to be finishing. And all I kept telling myself through the whole afternoon, really after 1, 2 o'clock, was, it seems like I have 30 miles left. It seems like I have 20 miles left. But dude, just run until the sun goes down. Like if you just keep moving until the sun goes down, you're going to be there. And it's those little like milestones that we can manufacture to allow those steps to feel like they're actually productive. And when we, the framework that we use to take a step is the roadmap. Every quarter we have what are the big, like, what's the dream life in 5-10 years? What's the goals this year? But what are those needle movers that, like, in the next 90 days that are going to allow us to like say, hey, we're on track, or maybe we're off track and we need to pivot. But having those manufactured timestamps on, hey, are you moving the needle in the right direction, are pivotal.
Because the drift is real.
Yeah.
So without the right intention, it's like this subtle drift. Like, if you ever had like a leaky faucet?
Yeah, we got one now.
So we moved into our new house. Underneath our bedroom sink in the bathroom, it was a subtle drip that I never noticed. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until my wife went in there and she grabbed something underneath there and it was completely soaked, caused some wood rot underneath it. It was all from this one drip, probably once every like 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. That one little drip compiled over time can cause a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It's like, if I would have known to fix it, I would have addressed it, and I did now. But like, how quickly are we addressing those little leaky faucets, these little drift mentalities where it's like, oh, my workouts were bad this week. Okay, no big deal. Well, when that compiles into the next week, and then the next week, you start to build momentum and you start to not prioritize it. And the next thing you know, dude, you've got that little pudge that like sits over your belt when you sit down, and you're like, oh, I'm 15, 20 pounds overweight that I didn't even know was happening, but it happens.
Yeah.
And it's not one decision that makes it happen. It's like this slow, steady drift mentality, which is why I love what you create with the roadmap, because it gives you that chance every week to just reflect on, did I do what I said I wanted to do? Mm-hmm. And if not, what are my pivots?
Yeah.
And when you can come back to that week in and week after, like, dude, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do guys get involved if they're hearing this? Or like, oh, the tribe, like, what is that? Like, what all does it entail and how do they get involved?
Yeah, man. So we started it back in the summertime of last year in 2025, and grown it just one step at a time, adding one guy that wants to get around a group of guys that are growth minded, like minded, want to pursue an action oriented mindset in their personal, professional, and spiritual life. So yeah, if y'all want to get involved, go to let'stakeastep.com and would love to connect with you and see if it's a good fit. Because y'all, it's something where it's we naturally want to isolate, and I think that's the ego. We naturally feel like we want to have all the answers ourselves. We don't want to rely on others. We don't want to be open and authentic. But iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, we grew up watching Superman and Batman and James Bond movies where it's one hero taking on a whole army.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, dude, that doesn't exist.
Seriously. But yeah, that's what we do. We we'll have a call once a month. We work through a goal setting and planning system where we can actually hold one another accountable and be consistent through on following through on the things that we say we're going to do. We'll get together. We have hikes, coffee, workouts, just guys that want to do life shoulder to shoulder. And one thing I'll throw out there, if we mentioned the step check earlier, we put together a proprietary personality leadership assessment. So if you want to get clear on where you're at right now, how you've actually been designed to lead holistically, not just in the marketplace. There's so many assessments out there that are very geared towards the kind of employee or the kind of employer, the kind of leader you are in the marketplace. But if you want to get clear on how God's wired you as an individual, go to stepcheck.let'stakeastep.com and fill out the step check assessment and get clear, because that's ultimately, if we want to move the needle in the right direction, like we were talking about earlier. If you just don't want to spin your tires, spin on the hamster wheel over and over, but actually have direction because you know how you've been wired, we've got to get clear. So that's a great way to get clear from the very beginning, and then you'll have opportunities to connect with us from there. So man, it's been a good episode.
Yeah,
dude. There's a lot of thoughts that have been spurred, but I'm excited to go out there and actually apply all of it. But guys, thank you for listening to another episode of the Take a Step podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a rating on whichever platform you're listening. Always remember, no matter where you are on your growth journey, every mile begins with a step.
Let's roll.
Oh. Let's go. Oh, that was